Chapter 359, South Bastard and North Gun. This battle was considered the pinnacle of the battle, and all eyes were on it. On the day of the appointment, the Killing Sea was similarly crowded, with countless powerful people from both the righteous and demonic factions traveling to watch the battle. Zijin and Fan Din also went to watch. Kang Qiao was precisely the one who learnt about the battle from Zijin's communication jade slip. And if he wasn't at the critical time of refining at that time, he would have wanted to go and watch the battle in person. The outcome of this battle was unexpected to everyone. Bai Wuxian and Dao Yi were both exceptional geniuses who had comprehended the soul arcane mysteries, and they had both comprehended the second layer of the soul arcane mysteries. Their strength was terrifying. The two fought fiercely for 3 days and 3 nights, and both were indistinguishable. In the end, both of them broke through the shackles and were promoted to the divine separation stage at the same time. And after they had crossed the threshold, they still fought for 7 days and 7 nights until they were both defeated and injured before they instantly moved away from each other. Not long after, someone spread the news that Bai Wuxia and Dao Yi had left the King's Land and entered the 18 layers of hell, where they would fight to the death. Following the departure of Zhao Wuji, Dao Yi and Bai Wujian, there weren't many outbreathing stage great perfection powerhouses left in the Land of Kings. However, the rivers and mountains were filled with talents, and one wave was even stronger than the next. In the 8th year of Kang Qiao's seclusion, his Force Quake finally reached the Grand Completion realm, and the 40th Red Diamond Blood Crystal also entered the final stage of refining. As for the Righteousness and Devil battlefield that was 10 million miles away, after countless battles, Little Gold's cultivation had finally risen to the peak of the 9th level of the out-of-body stage in one fell swoop. At the same time, the Red Diamond Blood Crystals that Little Jin had refined had also reached 30, and his physical body underwent its 3rd metamorphosis. After this metamorphosis, Little Gold's strength was also promoted to the out-of-body stage Grand Completion realm. The increase in strength made the belligerent Little Gold even more restless, and after he consecutively killed dozens of Devil Dao geniuses and powerhouses, he finally attracted Zhuanggang himself to come after him. At this time, no one in the outside world knew that Zijin had already broken through to the out-of-body stage Grand Circle realm, and his strength was only clear to Fan Din, who had been following him around. This battle was Zijin's famous battle, with the power of amplitude after berserking. He defeated Zhuanggang with a slight advantage, and became famous in the battlefield of the Righteous Devil. The tragic Zhuanggang, after being used as a stepping stone by Kang Qiao, was then used as a stepping stone by Zhao Wuji, and finally was used as a stepping stone by Zijin. The successive strikes made Zhuanggang very sad and angry, and he eventually left the King's Land and returned to the 10,000 Demons Hall until he broke through the divine separation stage and went to the 18 layers of hell. Because of this battle, Little Gold was ranked first on the immortal punishment list by the Demon Sex Cultivation Elder, and his ranking was even higher than Kang Qiao's. In this regard, Little Gold was very excited and proudly showed off to Kang Qiao through the communication jade slip. But Kang Qiao was in the final stage of refining the Red Diamond Blood Crystal and was too lazy to pay attention to him. In the 9th year of Kang Qiao's seclusion, the Devil Sex Supreme Genius, Devil Sky, came out of nowhere, and as soon as he came out of the world, he approached Zijin, and after a fierce battle, Zijin escaped with serious injuries. This battle was Devil Sky's Battle of Fame, and by defeating Zijin, Devil Sky was ranked as the #1 person on the Demon Punisher list by the War Elder. For a while, the entire Land of Kings was under Mo Chon's demonic might, and among the geniuses of the righteous path, apart from Zijin, there were very few strong people who could fight with him. In the 10th year of Kang Qiao's seclusion, he sent a message to Zijin and Fan Din in the orthodox demon battlefield, saying that he was going to come out of seclusion. Zijin, who was depressed from being defeated by Demon Heaven, immediately returned to the Heavenly Tao sect after receiving this news. Since Brahma Din could not enter the Heavenly Tao sect because she was not a disciple of the Heavenly Tao sect, they parted ways in the King's Land, agreeing to get together again when Kang Chia left the gate. Dark Gold Peak, Kang Chia, who was sitting cross-legged in the water pool, slowly opened his purple eyes, and two dazzling purple rays of light flashed. In his hand, the last trace of energy from the red diamond blood crystal followed his arm and entered his internal meridians, being absorbed by his physical body. With the disappearance of this trace of energy, Kang Chia, who had just opened his eyes, immediately fainted before he could get excited for a moment. Brother. A few days later, Little Gold returned to this place and was shocked when he looked at the unconscious Kang Chia. In the end, it was the Dan Emperor who came out and explained to him, and only then did Little Gold feel at ease. It turned out to be that his brother had refined the 40th red diamond blood crystal and was currently undergoing his 4th metamorphosis. Brother's flash defense this time is comparable to that Gai Zhuanggang, coupled with brother's strength, that Demon Heaven is bound to be unbeatable. Humph, Little Gold thought happily. After being defeated by Devil Sky, he had always wanted to take revenge, but unfortunately, he was never a match for Devil Sky. Now, he had already given up on defeating Devil Sky, and was only waiting for Kang Chia to wake up and take revenge for him. A month later, Kang Chia slowly opened his eyes. He had already completed his 4th metamorphosis. Brother, Little Gold, who was guarding his side, was instantly excited. Not bad. Kang Chia first sized up Zijin and realized that Zijin's cultivation was even stronger than his, both having reached the peak of the 9th level of the outbreathing stage, and nodded with a full face. After that, Kang Chia began to check his body's condition. Just as he expected, after refining 40 redling blood crystals, his 9-turned Zhuanggong finally broke through the 6th layer of the realm, and his physical body reached the level of a top-grade treasure weapon. In addition, the force quake he comprehended reached the grand completion realm of 1024 times, and his own cultivation was also promoted to the 8th layer of the outbreathing stage realm. Looking at this chain of circumstances, a confident light appeared in Kang Chia's eyes. Nowadays, his strength had undergone a drastic change. Who else was his opponent in the entire Land of Kings? 10 years. This seclusion took 10 years, the longest seclusion Kang Chia had ever been in. Similarly, during these 10 years of seclusion, Kang Chia's progress was very great. Not to mention that his cultivation had been promoted from the 6th level of the outbreathing stage to the 8th level of the outbreathing stage, and even the force quake had already comprehended the grand completion realm. Of course, the most important thing was that his 9-turned Zhuanggong had broken through to the 6th layer, and his physical body had reached the level of a top-grade treasure artifact. My current strength should be the limit at the outblood stage. The next step is to raise my cultivation as soon as possible in preparation for breaking through to the divine separation stage. Feeling the powerful strength rushing through his body, unprecedented confidence filled Kang Chia's eyes. He took out the blood sword gifted to him by his eldest senior brother and gently stroked it. With my current strength, I should be able to unlock the 3rd layer of seals, allowing the blood blade to reach an extreme treasure artifact. Kang Chia said softly, colorful in his eyes. The power of an extreme grade treasure weapon was extraordinary. With his current strength, if he added an extreme grade treasure weapon to it, it would be completely like a tiger adding wings to its wings. After thinking about it, Kang Chia asked Zijin to retreat farther away and began to unlock the 3rd layer of the seal of the blood blade. Originally, in Kang Chia's senior brother's opinion, this layer of seal needed to wait until Kang Chia had the cultivation of the divine separation stage before it could be unlocked. But Kang Chon's talent was clearly beyond his expectations. Nowadays, although Kang Chia hadn't broken through the divine separation stage, his strength far exceeded those out of body stage great perfection powerhouses and was considered an anomaly. Force quake, 1024 times. A low roar suddenly came out from Kang Chon's mouth, and his right palm emitted a dazzling light that shone brightly, illuminating the entire crater. Kang Chia lightly raised his right palm and slowly printed it on top of the blood knife. The knife body immediately trembled, as if it had broken through some kind of bondage. An eye-catching pillar of blood-colored light rose up from above the blood knife and rushed out of the crater all the way to the top of the dark gold peak, forming a pillar of blood-colored light that reached the heavens. Break, sensing a layer of diaphragm, Kang Chia suddenly bellowed out, purple light bursting out all around his body in a dazzling manner. With this loud shout, the blood knife trembled even more violently, and the pillar of blood-colored light through the sky also became more and more blazing. And finally, a morose and terrifying murderous aura spread out from the blood knife, spreading throughout the entire crater. This killing aura was very terrifying, so intense that the killing aura materialized, and on top of the blood saber, it manifested a series of brutal killing scenes. In a series of images, a cold young man, dressed in white like snow, was killing in all directions, and wherever he passed, rivers of blood flowed and wailing was everywhere. This killing scene ultimately formed a Shura hell, in the midst of a pillar of blood-colored light, which did not dissipate for a long time. Zijin's face was shocked. He was so frightened by the vision of the blood knife that his hairs stood on end, and he retreated far away, not daring to get close. This was because the closer he got to the blood blade, he felt an aura of death, the astonishing killing aura that made him tremble. What a shocking killing aura! Just how many people did eldest senior brother kill to raise this killing blade? Kang Chia couldn't help but marvel. Half a second later, the pillar of blood-colored light disappeared, and the terrifying killing aura disappeared as well, and the blood blade regained its calmness, falling into Kang Chon's hands. However, Kang Chia knew that as long as he moved his mind, that terrifying scene would reappear. Such a terrifying blood knife, Kang Chia felt that it was best not to use it if it was not necessary. Otherwise, relying excessively on the magic treasure would not be beneficial to his cultivation. After thinking about it, Kang Chia put away the blood knife and greeted Zijin as they left the crater together. Although the movement of the blood knives and ceiling was very large, the entire dark gold peak had a formation restriction set up by the law enforcement elders. So apart from some of the law enforcement disciples above the dark gold peak, the rest of the Heaven's Path sect didn't see that kind of phenomenon. As for those law enforcement disciples above the dark gold peak, although they were surprised, they didn't care. They thought that it was a commotion made by the law enforcement elder. After all, this was the law enforcement elder's home base, so anything strange could happen. Leaving the crater, Kang Chia and Zijin arrived at the contribution points. With the large amount of contribution points, they exchanged some cultivation pills, spirit stones, and other treasures. Some of these things were things they needed to use for themselves, and some were for Wang Tianxiong, because after this retreat, Kang Chia was prepared to take a trip back to the Great Tang country with little gold. After all, after 10 years of retreat, all of a sudden, Kang Chia somewhat missed Grandpa. From Star Peak, the two of them took the teleportation array and soon arrived at the forest of demonic beasts in the Great Tang country. Then, with an instantaneous transfer, Kang Chia and Little Gold directly arrived at Fengdu City. Compared to the vast and boundless orthodox demon battlefield, the Great Tang country appeared to be very small. And with Kang Chon's current strength, just about anywhere in the Great Tang country, he would be able to arrive within a few breaths. When they arrived at Fengdu City, they saw a ghostly Fengdu mountain range, and the entire sky above the mountain range was shrouded by a year-round dark cloud that appeared incomparably dark. "Brother, I sense a powerful evil aura." Little Gold stared at the Fendu mountain range not far away with a grave expression. Kang Tia nodded. Nowadays, they were no longer the same as before. Between raising their hands and feet, they all had terrifying power. In this cultivation world, the only people who could threaten them were left with some geniuses at the divine separation stage, or powerhouses at the harmonization stage or above. Even if it was the state lord of the great Tang country who had the cultivation of the divine separation stage, but in front of them, at the great circle of the out-of-body stage, they still looked fragile. Nowadays, Kang Tia and Little Gold had already grown to be strong in the cultivation world. 30 years have passed since the corpse-catching sect sealed the mountain, and we are almost 50 years old. Kang Tia sighed. In the blink of an eye, he was already over half 100 years old, and was no longer the brat he was when he first started out. "Brother, according to the corpse-catching sect, there are still 70 years to go before the Divine Maiden will be born," Little Jin said as he looked towards the Fendu mountain range, his face full of wariness. At that time, the Heavenly Tao sect and the corpse-catching sect are bound to have a battle, and perhaps we will have to take part in it as well. With 70 years of time, it is certain that we will step into the divine separation stage. We just don't know if we will be able to step into the harmonization stage. I can feel that if we don't have the strength of the harmonization stage, we won't have the qualifications to participate in that battle.